In this video, I'm going to try out the tutorial on Prometric's website for the CFA program. So I was alerted by my student that they have actually updated the exam tutorial for level 2 and level 3. So we're going to try that out. So I'm going to scroll down and click tutorial. And of course, I'll click OK, accept the terms and continue. So they have actually added new instructions apart from what was in my previous video. So there are things like, okay, for number 8 here, you will now have, of course, there's a text box where you can actually type out your answers. Okay, and of course, you can change the font size, you can bold, italize, underline, and of course, align it either on the left, center, and right, or justify. And you can also change the indentation. There is an undo and redo button as well. Alright, and okay, so for cases, okay, like in level 2 where you have the case study or vignettes, now there will be a pop-up, a button where you can actually click it, and then there will be a new pop-up, and then you will see the case. Okay, we'll see that in shortly. Okay, you can highlight, this is the same as before, right? And okay, you can, of course, there's a navigation section where you can review all your questions, the one that you have flagged, the one you have not attempted. Okay, so those are the same as before. Okay, now we'll just start this test here, and of course you can scroll through. For level 1, questions are standalone on every page. Okay, you can still right click to strike out the answers. You can click the one that you want to answer, and of course if you want to flag it, you can just still click the flag button. Okay, and then okay, for the next part, so for those level 2 vignettes, okay, there will be a button where you can actually view the case scenario. So here they will pop up on the left hand side of the screen. Okay, so this is where I envision the case study will be on the left hand side. Okay, and then the questions will be on the right hand side. Okay, so of course if I were to zoom in, just to zoom in, of course it will pop up. So there'll be a new pop-up window here. So what we can see is on this part, okay, on the left hand side you will see the case scenario on the left hand side of the item question, and now you will be able to select sub questions either in the form of 4 multiple choice questions or in 6 multiple choice questions. Right, so you'll be able to see it split into 2 screens. Okay, you will only have 1 monitor but split into 2 parts, and the case will be on the left hand side, and on the right you will see the question where you can click the sub questions. Right, so this is how it would be. Now if I just scroll out, automatically it will fit into my screen. Okay, you would not need to do this on exam day. They will automatically show you the case scenario on the left hand side. Okay, or there may be a button there where you can click to view the case scenario. So once you've answered, I'll just move on to the next part. Now the next thing is the same. You can click the case scenario and then select the answer. Now what I would like to show you is this part here where you can actually type. Okay, I think it will be on question number 11. Alright, so here for example, let's say if there's a question that requires you to demonstrate, okay, certain things, okay, you can highlight if you want to, right? But here you can click to see the case scenario, and again you can now type. But notice here that there are 2 additional functions. One is for special characters like currency signs, and there's even Bitcoin as well. Okay, I don't think that will come out in the exam, I hope. Okay, and of course there are other symbols that you may want to use, but I don't think you really need to use this in the exam. Okay, and then there is an equation editor or the formula builder or whatever you want to call it. So once you press it, you can there are different sections, okay, with different functions that you can use. For example, if you want to, let's say if you want to do a fraction, you can just click divide and then out pops this fraction here. Of course, if you want, you can also type it manually. So for example, I may want to type, I can just type slash. If I press slash, then a fraction will automatically come out. Then I can type, of course, x plus y over divide by 2, okay, equals to z. Okay, so of course, there are things that you can do, like I can do like a superscript. Okay, superscript here. Okay, or you can do a subscript if you want to. Okay, for example, if I want to calculate the number of futures contract required, I can do something like this. Okay, I'll just press for subscript and f here equals to a fraction. I'll just press slash. Okay, and then I'll have the target beta. Okay, if you want to enter beta, you can press the last section here and click on beta. Okay, or you can manually type it by pressing backslash. You can type backslash and press beta. Okay, automatically you press enter, then beta comes out. Okay, and then same thing, you can repeat it again, or I think I can copy and paste hopefully. Okay, you can copy and paste, and then you have this part here. Oops. Okay, so here let's see. So it's not that convenient to use, but it can be choosy there. Okay, so you have beta, and then oops, doesn't work. Beta, enter, and then S, and then this will be beta again, beta N for the futures contract. Okay, and then you will multiply. If you multiply, you can press, I think you can press X there. Okay, if I press I press X twice, it becomes multiply. You can even, if you know how to use LaTeX, you can press backslash and times. Okay, and then again, you need the fraction with the portfolio value and also the futures price. Okay, see, it takes quite a lot of time, so I don't really encourage you to use the formula builder, regardless of how worried you are that if you don't type the formula, you won't get marks and all that. Okay, you can just, if you want, we can just type it in, the ways like here, you can type beta t, okay, minus beta s, okay, divided by the beta of the futures price, okay, and then you multiply, or you can put multiply here, okay, as s over f, okay. Again, if you are quite sure about the formula, you can immediately substitute the values in, so you don't really need to type out the formula. If you know the numbers, you can substitute in straight away, right? So that's on the formula builder. So of course, other things you can do are they are of course square roots, power functions, of course subscripts, and superscripts. Okay, there's a sigma. You can put a summation here as well. What else do we have? Maybe approximation. If you want approximation, of course you can just type. I could just have typed here that this is backslash approx. Okay, approximate. Press enter. Okay, then you get the answer. Okay, for 54.6. Okay, and of course don't forget that when it comes to questions on number of futures contracts required, always round to the nearest whole number. That's equals to 55. Right, so this is if you really want to use it. Okay, I think it's for those of you who are not used to typing, using formula or equation editors like on Words, I don't really think you should use this. It will drag you down in the exam. Okay, and don't worry too much about having to use this. Even the CFA Institute doesn't require you to use it. It's just for those who wants to type out the formulas. But as I said, you can express it in simple words like this. Okay, then we also have questions where they will give you a blank. Okay, you can fill in a blank here. So for this type of questions, you will just enter the answer, and then of course, if it's right, you get full marks. Now, for this tutorial, they did not instruct whether we are going to type it in percentage or in decimal or in 2 decimal places. In the exam, I expect that there will be instructions on how you will need to answer this. For example, whether the answer is in percentage or whether it's in to round it to 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places, or to round it to millions. Okay, there will be instructions given. So all you need to do is just follow the requirement of the question. Okay, there seems to be, let's say on question 14, there's one part where they ask you to calculate, and then they give you this big box here. Okay, this text box. Okay, then of course you can type in the answer, as the CFA Institute said that you can, for calculation based questions, you can just type in the answer. If it's right, you get full marks. Okay, but of course you can show your workings. Your workings will have credits only if your final answer is wrong. Okay, then they will give you marks based on your workings. Right, so that's how The formula builder will be like for those taking the level 3 exam. Okay, you will type your answers here. Okay, or you can of course type the formula, substitute the numbers in. Okay, and if you want, you can use the formula editor. Okay, so this is just to show you on how it works. Okay, I still have about less than 7 minutes to go. Now, of course, you can flag the questions using the button below, and then when you press this section review, you can actually filter by your attempted questions or unattempted questions, okay, and then or by the flag questions. And then if you want to you can lock in the panel while you scroll through different questions. Then the panel will remain active. Otherwise, if you do not click on the lock panel, it will close every time you toggle to a different question. Okay, once you're done, once the timer runs out, then the exam will automatically end and the test will be submitted. Okay, or if you finish ahead of time, then click on finish test and just click finish. Okay, and you're done. Right, so hopefully you can try out the tutorial. Hopefully you get a bit of practice beforehand, and all the best for your exam preparation.